Up, everybody? I wanted to take this time to go over some of the comments I've received regarding UFL, and there's no exact time frame that I'm going to go back to, but the bottom line is, up to this point, I've been able to answer just about every, if not every, comment that I have. It is getting harder, which is a good thing, right? Because it just means the more followers I have, the more comments I have, the harder it is to answer them all. But at the same time, I just wanted to say thank you so much for all of the engagement, all the feedback as well. I mean, there's a ton of people with some great points that I would like to get out there to everybody. Hopefully, you guys have at least some of you have read some of these comments and get some of this feedback that I've gotten regarding not just the game, but also some advice that if somehow this stumbles upon the developers, it could be awesome. I know some of the stuff that I've read, I'm like, I wish I could fast forward it just straight to the development team. So maybe one day, but keep the comments coming. Keep your voices loud out there because that's the only way things get answered, right? Many people think, there's no point. UFL will never see it or whatever the case is, but that's not true. You got to keep the feedback coming. And then as a whole, that feedback is what gets back to UFL. But for this video, we will go through some of your comments, and I haven't handpicked anything out. You'll see here I'm literally going to just randomly scroll and stop, and this is what we will get to. So this was after the update. So let's read this first one from Mordu83. They need to add a league system with a table where we can play league matches, cup tournaments where our stats matter. So we have regular rank matches, which determines what league we are put in after a certain date. Then we play in our leagues for a certain amount of time. At end of the leagues, we go back into ranked games to determine what league we play in next time. Showdown change it to cup tournament format. So maybe I don't agree with this exact idea. However, Mordu83, you are exactly right. The game in general needs more depth. There absolutely needs to be more modes. I had said this previously. I gave some ideas, but which this is an awesome idea. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying for me, I think I said definitely 2v2 mode because I feel like UFL could be awesome 2v2 for sure. A competitive 2v2 mode. It has to have a purpose, which is kind of playing off of what Mordu83 is saying too. That's similar to what I was explaining, that these modes can't just play, you go to the offline mode and you could play 2v2, or go to the offline mode when you're bored of divisions or whatever it is. Even if they have like the hard mode for the AI or whatever, that's good for practicing. Absolutely. I strongly encourage you to do the offline mode to practice. But as far as game modes to play and actually enjoy, there also has to be rewards for it, right? Maybe those rewards tie back to your team for divisions and showdown and stuff, but there has to be more of a purpose, even in divisions, which is kind of where I like where Mordu's going with this, because once you get to the Premier Division, right, literally all you're going for is moving that number, your global rank up and down. But it's nearly impossible to get demoted, right? I mean, I went on a huge hiatus once the game started going in the wrong direction, and I'm still top 100 players. I got as high as top 14, and then it's just really hard to find games. The game started going in the wrong direction. FC had that amazing patch, so I started playing that more. And so still, even with that, not playing and having other players trying to grind, I'm still top 100. So there just needs to be a purpose. I'll give you an example. I sold all of my top players that I had gotten so I could compete at that high level. But it got so boring with the game that now the number one interest I have is I've taken all these low-rated players, knowing that everyone else has very high-rated teams, and that's my challenge, trying to compete with these low-rated players and then turn them into my own meta players. So that's what I'm excited for. But I had to create that myself, so the game has to have some stuff coming, to make it a more in-depth game, and that will keep players' interest. Which, the more players, the less wait times, and so on and so forth. So, thank you, Mordu83. Great comment. Next, one day I was downloading a new game, then played UFL until it finished. And this is from Lewis Linux, by the way. Great dude. He's been in my, at least I think it is, because I've talked to him in my chat. Great dude. I've talked to him in the chat. Just want to make sure it was a he. And, just always has good feedback, always very encouraging. Great person to be, part of the UFL player base, can absolutely help. So again, one day I was downloading a new game, then played UFL until it finished. The game stuttered throughout, just like how some of your games looked with network issues. It also kicked me off the game twice. The game crashed mid-match. When I loaded UFL back up, I was not penalized with a loss for either match. I just never received XP, etc. Hope this helps. This is regarding the disconnection issue that I've had and many others in the comments have talked about, where you're literally playing a game and it closes you out. And sometimes it just doesn't count as a win or loss. It's just nothing, which stinks if you're winning, or, maybe you're in a tight match, you finally got a big goal and then it disconnects, right? But they need to fix it, obviously. It's a huge issue. Counting all of the games up, I don't know the exact number, but for sure after the past 2 showdowns, I've lost 11 wins with this disconnect issue. And it mainly was happening when I was winning after I scored a goal. Just recently, though, we made a discovery that it might be an error in the system and not a cheat, where when I'm going to save content, like you hit the start button and go to save clip. So you shouldn't have a glitch, though, that doesn't allow you to clip, your plays. I mean, that's how people share their goals or their whatever it is. So you definitely don't want a glitch that is shutting the game out, and basically it punishes the player who scored, who's trying to save his goal or the play leading up or whatever it is. But we found that out recently. However, I have heard from a reliable source that it is a cheat as well, meaning that players can do it on purpose to make the game close out so they don't suffer a loss, okay? Sometimes, though, I've had it where I do end up suffering the loss. And that's the part that's no good. So I've sent videos to UFL. I haven't got like a straightforward response. They said they're continuing to investigate. This information, is all that we have. Just what I've experienced here, reading what Lewis Linux and same with other people have experienced. So let's hope they fix that and get it out of here. It's similar to the no loss glitch, which is, thank goodness, gone from FC. And I haven't had any disconnect issues over there. I hope UFL brings it back to the beginning where, for a long while I didn't have. I know it's a very new game still, but for the first all the way up till I think the second patch is when it started happening. I could be wrong there, but they need to get that out of the game for sure. So thank you, Lewis Linux. Great feedback there. All right, so here we go. Renee Harris 2210 always has good feedback, so let's read this. Glitch crossing is gone for the most part. Through balls are fixed, and hopefully it'll continue moving forward. Slowly it's getting better than ever. Continue to play, and I'll beat you next time. LOL. So I guess I played and beat Renee. I don't know if it was during this, but I believe I got this during a stream. So I guess I beat Renee. I got to figure out which team his is, because he's always got good feedback on here. We don't always agree, which is fine. But for instance, in this, glitch crossing is gone, which is excellent, and that is correct with this new patch. The L2 cross, and before that L1 triangle, L1 square lob cross, which usually happened after the L1 triangle. Thank goodness that is gone, right? But through balls are not fixed, okay? They are better, but they're not fixed. So mainly the long through balls into space, those are fine. But you go to try to play a shorter through ball, and it's got a mind of its own. Sometimes it will go way to one side or the other. Sometimes it will shoot 100 feet away when you just tapped triangle. They need to fix that, because it's, of course, in any football game, the through ball is going to be a very important ball, right? And same with real football. That's many times how you lead your attackers in on goal, right? Or into a chance to create the final shot on goal. So they need to truly fix through ball. So that is not accurate, Renee Harris. However, I agree the glitch crossing is gone. Slowly but surely, it's moving forward better than ever. He said continue to play, because obviously my frustration level is high on this game a lot, and it gets to the point, just like when I left FC, right? Like many players. If it's not fun anymore, if it's frustrating, if you see they keep going in the wrong direction, what's the point in playing? Well, for me, the point is I still have many people that believe in this game, and I believe in those people, so I'm going to keep playing. But it makes no sense for me not to play as far as followers and in videos and stuff. The most views and all that I get as like a content creator is from UFL. That's where I literally started. The cornerstone of my channel is UFL. So it would be useful if I was just a BSer and lied to my viewers and, oh, this game's amazing. And there's some content creators that do that, and I can't stand those content creators. You have to be a straight shooter with this stuff. But then you also get people that misread, like when you're giving criticism, constructive criticism, just like in anything, like the people read my comments and will, get it confused with hatred, or like that, like I can't stand the game, or that I'm trying to push people to FC, but it's not it. I'm just being honest about, that's what I'm doing myself, and it benefits me to stick to UFL, especially because I'm still growing. It's not like I'm established, but I just can't do that. I got to be honest. I hope you guys can understand and appreciate that. Anything I say, no matter how negative it may sound with UFL or FC, you hear me talk about EA Sports all the time. They're a joke of a company, but right now they have a great game out. UFL, I want them to keep going in the right direction, and I agree with Renee Harris, because the last patch did make the game better, but they still have a lot of work to do. So I do agree with you on some. I definitely think that you're a little too much on the, hey, we're scot-free, we're in the clear now, the game's good. I think that the fact is it is a bit better with this last patch, but we can't count our chickens before they hatch. The developers have a lot of work. But thank you very much, Renee Harris, 2210. Keep coming with the feedback. I always enjoy reading it, and I appreciate all the support. All right, next one. Let's go. Okay, of course, waiting for the Tactic Bro. I do appreciate everyone that uses my tactics on Xbox. This update is really good. It improves so much. That was from Patrick Smith, 8746. All right, that's good. Hello, thanks for your work. Do you change your tactics with the pressing? All right, so this is a good question here from Laguine6547. I probably butchered that, but yes, I absolutely changed my tactics after this last patch, and what he's talking about is now, and it actually was worse before the patch, to be honest with you. To be honest with you with that too, furthermore, is that I wasn't playing the game as much then. So it caught me off guard when I turned it on, and all of a sudden that pressure was very similar to what's in FC right now. It's a very wide open play, but when you receive the ball, you're going to have defenders on you quick. And it's similar to that now, right? The tactics that people are using, no matter what they are, it's very easy to close space down, and you have to be pretty quick with your passes, especially with your defenders. You can get stripped pretty easily if you're nonchalant with the ball. So I guess that's where the stamina comes in. They try to drain stamina if you use, press on every touch, pressure after possession loss. But for instance, that's a good example where the game needs to still be, fine-tuned. The stamina loss is ridiculous. Even on balance, your players just get toast way too early, which like I said, I believe that was to combat the pressure. However, they need to fix the stamina, and the pressure isn't so terrible, but I did change my tactics, and that's why I go with 3 different options. 4-1-2-1-2 wide, but I put it more as a narrow, and if the player's not as good with the pressure tactics, that one works, and even if they are, there's a lot of different triangles for quick passes and close. The 4-4-1-1, I pushed all the way out wide, so that way I can play to those wingers all the way out to the touchline, to try to alleviate pressure, obviously, let the ball keep moving, and spread out the opponent. The more spread out they are, the longer it's going to take for them to pressure you. And last but not least, I have the 4-4-2 holding, which is my more defensive. Like if I'm playing a good attacking team, I want those 2 CDMs in there. I got the 4-4-2. So I have that across my defensive 4-4-2 holding, my balance, which is a 4-1-2-1-2 wide, and then on the attacking side, I have the 4-4-1-1, and I intermix all those. But yes, I did change my tactics for the pressing. You can get all those videos out there. I'm hoping by now you've seen that. If not, for all of you, those 3 videos are out now with all the tactics that I line up with currently in the post-patch. We'll go through a few more. Okay, so Carl Davis. Let's read this one. Carl Davis. That guy who went 2-0 up on you, that was first time shot, not snapshot. G. Okay. Carl, another very awesome guy, follower that I actually met over in another stream. When I was kind of contemplating starting or not, I was a little bit smaller then. He actually urged me to start a stream. And so shout out to Carl Davis, and we actually went at it quite a bit because he was trashing UFL. I mean, Carl Davis was trashing it. I was fully defending it. He was saying all this stuff about eFootball is way better and UFL's terrible, no one likes it. And now it got to the point where he's actually sometimes defending UFL when I'm upset with it. So it's so funny how it came full circle. But nonetheless, I really appreciate Carl Davis. He definitely pushes me to stream a lot, pushes me to do content. He's a great supporter, always on sharing comments. So shout out to Carl Davis 532. So in this one, though, I can explain what he's talking about. Guy went up 2-0 on me on the same type of shot. Or no, the first one was a snapshot. The second one was a one-time shot. The issue that I had was my defenders, once that like animation triggers, since both of those are skills that attackers have, one-time shots and snapshots, they don't let your defenders move it. Your defenders aren't fluid like they are in FC. They're more stiff. And you can't have it like that. You should be rewarded for reading a play, and you should be able to block a shot. Then the attacker's got to see if the shot's going to be blocked. Okay, don't shoot it. Make the extra pass. If not, you get punished with a blocked shot. In UFL, once you get the ball and you like touch shoot or one-time shoot especially with players with those boosted skills for snapshot or one-time shot, your defender literally freezes. You can't react even if you wanted to block the shot, and it just skims by him. So it's like an animation that stops your defender, so to speak, and a vast majority of the time your goalie doesn't save it. It's all like almost like a larger animation rather than a fluid like, okay, you're going to try to receive it, shoot. I know you are. I'm going to get in the range to block it. Because you'll have defenders right there to block these things, but that was after a snapshot went up on me and he was correcting me because on stream I was like, 2 snapshot goals, can't defend them. I mean, that's a huge problem. The player I was playing was very good, especially, let's call it in UFL tactics. But that is something they should change down the road. I know that's not going to be something they address anytime soon. However, the more fluid you make it, the more rewarding you make skill defending, like players who can anticipate passes and dribbling stuff, the better your game will be. Right? The more towards AI and bunching up the defense so, to help casual players not get punished for bad defense, that's not good for anybody, even casual players, right? And I say that just because I have it from a good source that is why they changed defense from being awesome, at the release of the game with all the spacing, the ability to make these awesome passes and dribble through holes and stuff. And defensively, you had to plug those holes and tweak your defenders' positioning and stuff and decide when to commit to tackles. And it was a skill before, and they need to go back to that. But definitely is a problem when on the attacking side you can just trigger an animation to score. It should be more skill-based than that. And the defender should be able to block the shot, not be quote-unquote frozen out because of the animation. All right, we'll go ahead with one more, and we'll constantly do these and go over different ones. Okay? All right, so this one's from Marion George 6590. Can't remember if I already read one of his comments. If not, thank you very much. If so, there you go. You get 2 of them on here. Ball still going through player legs. My keeper dived with the back yesterday. Shot from top of the box, and my keeper is diving, facing bottom corner. Insane bugs. It was a goal, obviously, and I lost 3-2 because of that. Maybe I can lose last showdown match based on a stupid bug. Passes are still not good in many cases. It feels for me like this game in beta was non-existent. They should fix a lot of stuff in beta. That's why it's beta. Thank you very much for the comment. And you're absolutely right. There's still a lot of stuff wrong even with this last patch, without a doubt. That's what I was saying to Renee Harris's post. It would be definitely counting our chickens before we hatch to say, oh, all clear, we're great now. The game's better than ever. It's not better than ever. It's better than it has been recently. The best it's been is at the initial release. And I'm not saying it was perfect then, but it was definitely like you had that freedom. It was fun to play. And now they've bunched up the defense. They've made it more AI oriented. They tried to fix certain things, which actually introduce more bugs that they still haven't fixed some things. Some of the animations are still out of whack, or even more so out of whack, because it's almost like as they fix one thing, two more things break, is what it seems like sometimes. So they still need to do work on that, right? But what I will say is this. When he says it feels like, for me, this game in the beta was non-existent, I will say that even though I didn't play the beta, I do remember during the beta, nobody was excited about this game. If you go back and look, I mean, people were like, no way. I mean, this game has no chance. I can't believe they're releasing this. They actually delayed the release and then went back and put a ton of work in it. And once players got the little pre-release, test after the beta, like, here, this is what we're releasing, they were super excited, super happy about all the changes. And that's what got some of those big FC creators to kind of start streaming UFL and stuff, because they were like, wow, this game's onto something. Hence why I started playing day one of pre-release. Like, you played $15, you got the 7 days early access is what it was. And it was awesome. I mean, it was nowhere near like, of course it wasn't like a peak FC. It was nowhere near like post-patch FC now, obviously. That's the best, in my opinion, the best release ever, okay? I know people are going to bring back some of the games in the old days, but that's more nostalgic, because of how much fun you were having then. But with regards to all the advancements and yada, 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 this current post-patch FC 25 is the best release ever, which shows you just how much money, how much influence, money, and being, 30 whatever years experience with the game and stuff. It just shows you what that can do. You take the worst ever release, FC 25, and turn it into the best ever release. Or if not, if you don't want to say that, then one of the best. Okay, and at the very, very least, you have to say it is a very good game right now. FC 25 it is, no matter how much you want to hate EA Sports, or even how much you want to hate the FC franchise. It's a very good game right now. And UFL wasn't that, but it was a very good game in their own right, in their own lane, being brand new, right? And that's what they've lost since then. Somehow they got to go back, right? They've gone in the right direction, so that's definitely a good sign. But if they could just go back to that initial, or at least more towards that initial release, everyone was on their side. Everyone was loving what they were seeing. Everyone was having fun playing the game. No one cared that it wasn't as good as far as all the bells and the whistles. No one was just going crazy about some of the bad animations, because it's understandable. It only started coming out once they started tweaking this and breaking that, and tweaking more of this and breaking more of that. So I don't agree that, the beta, all this was there to see. I think a lot of this has been newly arisen due to them going in trying to answer the player base, but, doing too much, sort of like I said earlier, splitting the baby and trying to please everybody, which typically, as we're seeing in this case, pleases nobody, right? So they have to put their foot down and put out the product they envisioned, the product closer to what they released, because during initial release, because clearly that was what they envisioned, and everyone loved that. So if they go back towards that, they're doing great. So that being said, we will continue to do these from time to time. No set time, so to speak, but just, from time to time. But I appreciate everything, positive or negative, all the comments, all the engagement, all the views. Even when you guys tell me about, using my tactics and the success you have, literally you have no idea. That's like a win for me. That's bigger than anything that I do as a player on these video games. So that's literally was my goal coming in, is to transfer some of the things that I love about coaching football in real life, and translate them into the video game world and share these things through YouTube. So, couldn't have imagined being here. I know I'm still very small, but to me, I've said this before, these numbers might as well be in the millions. That's how much it means to me. So thank you so much. I look forward to continuing my journey in these games and my journey with you guys, listening to your feedback, talking to you guys in streams, all that. And until next time, keep grinding, keep having fun. Peace out.